Imagine this, getting an extra $1,000 deposited into your bank account every single month. Picture yourself sitting on a beach in Thailand, Bali, or even right here in Perth, and that money just keeps rolling in no matter what you're doing. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to build a $1,000 per month passive income stream using Australian dividend investing. And we're not talking theory here. We're using real 2025 data, real ASX dividend yields, and real portfolio numbers in Australian dollars. Let's jump right in. Here in Australia, dividend investing is like having a financial superpower. Why? It's all because of something the US and Europe don't have: franking credits. In simple terms, this means that many Australian shares pay you income that's either tax-free or very low tax, because the company has already paid the tax for you. Even in 2025, the average fully franked dividend yield is still a solid 4 to 6%. Some listed investment companies, or LICs, and ETFs are delivering even more, from 5 to over 7%. So, the big question: how much money do you actually need to earn $1,000 a month? Well, $1,000 a month works out to $12,000 per year in dividends. Now, let's calculate the portfolio sizes you need using some real 2025 dividend yields. Looking at some of the top Aussie dividend investments, Vanguard's High Dividend ETF, VHY, has a yield of about 5.2%. iShares High Dividend ETF, IHD, is even higher at 6.8%. The classic LICs, like Australian Foundation Investment Company, or AFI, sit around 4.3% fully franked, and Argo, or ARG, is at 4.1%. Even the broad market index like VAS, which tracks the ASX 300, has a decent 4.2% yield. Other popular LICs like LT and BKI are generally in that 4 to 5% range. So let's do the math. To get $12,000 a year with a 4% yield, you need a portfolio of $300,000. If your portfolio has an average yield of 5%, that number drops to $240,000. And if you can achieve a 6% yield, you'd only need $200,000 invested. So realistically, to hit that $1,000 a month goal in 2025, you're looking at a portfolio size of somewhere between $200,000 and $300,000. Now let's look at what some of these portfolios could look like in practice. Here are a few practical examples of Aussie portfolios that could generate that $1,000 per month. For our first example, let's look at a low-risk core index approach. You can invest purely in the VS Australian Shares ETF. It has a yield of around 4.2%, and it's fully franked. To get $12,000 a year from this, you divide 12,000 by 0.042, which means you need a portfolio of about $285,000. It's simple, diversified, and a great foundation. For our second example, let's try a balanced dividend mix. You could put 50% of your money in VHY with its 5.2% yield, 30% in AFI with its 4.3% yield, and the remaining 20% in IHD with its higher 6.8% yield. This gives you a weighted average yield of about 5.1%. With this balanced approach, the portfolio you'd need is around $235,000. And for our third example, a high yield, high franking portfolio, you could have a mix of IHD for its 6.8% yield, BKI for its 4.5% yield, and a basket of other LICs that average around 5 to 5.5%. This could give you a total weighted yield of about 6%. With this strategy, the portfolio required drops to just $200,000. Okay, so we know we need between $200,000 and $300,000. But how long does it actually take to build a portfolio of that size? Let's be realistic. Let's assume you can invest $1,000 every month and get an average annual return of 8%, which is the long-term average for the Australian stock market. To build a $250,000 portfolio, if you invest $1,000 a month, it will take you about 14 years. If you can bump that up to $1,500 a month, you can get there in just 10 years. And if you can manage to invest $2,000 a month, you could do it in as little as 8 years. To build a $300,000 portfolio, investing $1,000 a month will take around 16 years. If you invest $1,500 a month, it drops to 11 years. As you can see, building a $250,000 portfolio isn't some far-off dream. It's a 7 to 15-year project depending on how much you can consistently invest. So, why are Australian dividends so powerful, especially now in 2025? There are 3 key reasons. The first, as we mentioned, is franking credits. Most big ASX companies pay a 30% tax on their profits before they pay you dividends. This tax payment is passed on to you as a credit. If your personal income tax rate is below 30%, which it often is in retirement, you can get a cash refund from the ATO. It's an incredible wealth building tool. The second reason is the strength of our banking and mining sectors. The ASX is heavily weighted towards dividend-heavy companies like the big 4 banks, CBA, NAB, Westpac, and ANZ, and mining giants like Beach and Rio Tinto. These companies have a long history of paying reliable dividends, even during economic downturns. And the third reason is that dividends grow over time. The average dividend growth rate in Australia is about 4% per year. This means that your passive income stream isn't static. It actually increases year after year, helping you outpace inflation. Now, dividend investing is amazing, but let's talk about the dangers, the stuff people often don't tell you. First, chasing super high yields is risky. If you see a stock or fund offering a yield above 7 or 8%, that should be a red flag. It often means the market thinks that dividend is unsustainable and might be cut. Second, remember that banks and miners are cyclical. Their profits, and therefore their dividends, can go up and down with the economic cycle. That's why it's so important to diversify using ETFs and LICs, rather than trying to pick a handful of single shares. Third, dividends are not guaranteed. A company can decide to reduce or cancel its dividend at any time. This is where LICs can be helpful, as they often hold back some profits in good years to smooth out dividend payments during the bad years. ETFs, on the other hand, will pass on whatever dividends they receive, so their income can be lumpier. And finally, tax can still be a factor if you're in a high-income bracket. But even then, franking credits will heavily reduce the amount of tax you have to pay on your dividend income. So, what is the best and simplest Australian dividend strategy? Here is a clean, accountant-approved formula you can follow. Step 1 is to build a core for your portfolio. This means putting around 30 to 50% into a broad market ETF like VS. It's also wise to add some global diversification. So maybe 20 to 30% in an ETF like VGS for international shares. Step 2 is to add some yield boosters. This is where you allocate 20 to 40% of your portfolio to higher yield investments like VHD or a basket of reliable LICs. Step 3 is the most important. Automate everything. Set up an automatic investment that transfers money from your bank account every payday. Never, ever try to time the market. Just keep investing consistently. Step 4 is to reinvest all your dividends. Use a dividend reinvestment plan, or DRP, to automatically buy more shares with the income you receive. Keep doing this until you reach your target portfolio size of $200,000 to $300,000. Once you hit that goal, you can switch off the DRP and start collecting the cash. So let's wrap this up with the final answer. To earn $1,000 per month in passive income from Australian dividends, the real 2025 numbers are, you'll need around $200,000 invested for a high-yield strategy, somewhere between $240,000 and $260,000 for a balanced mix, and about $280,000 to $300,000 for a low-risk or ETF approach. This is totally achievable for normal Aussies. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme, but a proven path to financial freedom, especially if you invest consistently and let the incredible power of compounding work its magic for you over time. Just a quick reminder, this video is for general information only and is not financial advice. You should always speak to a licensed financial advisor who can take your personal situation into account before making any investment decisions. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content on building wealth in Australia.